Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, the Strongest Wizard, and tonight is indeed Fight Night, and we have ourselves another OP07 match. Yes, we got my boy Endeavor on the left-hand side, rocking out that black and yellow Luffy, as well as Nacho on the right with, of course, that Rob Lucci. Now, I do want to say we are back at home base here at DXN Outpost, DXN Provisions. You know the deal. We got hand cams on the left and on the right. Hopefully, you guys can see them and kind of know what each card is. But I think I did a pretty good job this time with the angles. I'm very proud of that. So we're gonna see Nacho starting us off here, and we see the Spandam whiff. What is new? Pass it back to my boy Endeavor here on his turn 1, and we're gonna go ahead and pass. But quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is DXN Outpost, DXN Provisions, the only place where I get all my sealed product. And guys, right now they have a ton of sealed as well as singles on there. So if you're interested in some One Piece product, check out the link below. So we see an aggressive 9k swing going into Nacho, and he does end up taking here, dropping down to 4 life, and now we see the 5 cost Kaku, just establishing a 6k body on the board. Kaku is pretty nice in this matchup just because obviously you can't just immediately rocket Luffy it away since it is a 5 cost, but this 5k swing does connect, and now we're going to go ahead and tap 5 for that Sabo. We're going to go ahead and get some cycle going on, and we see our hand is kind of a bit clunky. We have the 10 cost that we just pitched, as well as a ton of babies, and it looks like we're gonna go ahead and pitch the Rocket Luffy away. Now, if you check out Endeavor's hand here, he has the Sabo, he has the Ace. I'm sorry, not the Ace. He has 2 Luffys. He has 2 Luffys, an Ace, a Sabo, a Hiyori, as well as the Search. Now, he definitely could have played that Hiyori this following turn to bring out the Rocket Luffy, but he would only be at 3 life. And then if he did the Sabo, it would be the same. But now he has the Ace, so he doesn't gain Rush even if you hard play, since you're at 4 life. Nacho doing a great job by not attacking here. But we are going to see a 7k swing going into life, and if you guys didn't catch that, Nacho did end up dropping the 5 cost Sabo, which he did end up drawing 2 and trashing 2. And if we see his hand is kind of stacked. My man Nacho has an insanely good hand here. So we see a 7k swing. We're actually going to go ahead and counter out of it. And now we see the 5 cost Sabo once again getting a lot of cycle in, trying to get rid of the cards I really don't need, as well as kind of seeing maybe some cards like Gecko Moria, because I don't know if you guys know, but Gecko Moria is a pretty good card. So I'm totally being sarcastic. Obviously, it's a good card. So if we check out Nacho's hand here, we have the 2 Geckos, we have Tempest, we have the Spandine, the 4 cost Kaku 2k counter version, the Suru, as well as a Brook, and yeah, pretty solid here. This 6k going into Sabo does connect. We want our opponent to swing into life, which Nacho does end up doing here. We're gonna go ahead and take our own life, and it's a 5 cost Luffy, and this is really nice to see. Hopefully we can play the 5 cost Luffy and gain plus 2k on that character, as well as take our own life, because Nacho is grabbing and making an insane board while my man Endeavor is kind of in the trenches a little bit. He's able to actually play back-to-back Gecko, I'm assuming, for the following turn. That is, of course, Nacho. So Endeavor needs to kind of get the ball rolling here. So it looks like we do have, of course, Endeavor at 3 life. And with all this done, it's kind of difficult to see what exactly he's going to want to do here. So we obviously have a ton of babies, as well as a ton of adult 3 brother characters, but we don't have too many 2k counters. We only see the 2k Hiyori, and the reason why I mention this is just because it's kind of important that we find our 2k counters so that we're able to take our own life. That's primarily the main reason. Now there's a couple other tech cards, but we are going to go ahead and see the Hiyori, like we were talking about, grab the top life. It looks like we're going to go ahead and throw possibly the Luffy at the top. We have a couple options. If we had the Rocket Luffy, that'd be pretty nice here, but it looks like we're gonna go ahead and tap 2 and play the Ace. Now this Ace definitely does have a Rush, so it's a 5/7 with Rush, so we probably will see it live. Unfortunately, we don't have a Sabo, so I feel like if you did have the Sabo, you can go ahead and not swing with it, but because you know it's not protected, you know, it's not looking too hot. So but my man Endeavor does have quite a few Dawn Up. He has 6 Dawn Up, so we could swing 7, 8, and then play out the 5 cost Luffy. That wouldn't be too bad, honestly. But Nacho does have quite a few big bodies on the board now. We have you have 3 6Ks, and then we have the Gecko, and really protecting his life here, blocking. That's a bit of an issue, honestly, a bit of an issue for sure. So it looks like we probably will see a 5 and then an 8K swing going in. Definitely possible. I don't really see any other lines of play that Endeavor can do, because Luffy is his only adult character. We got no searchers. We ended up pitching the searcher. We have no geckos, so we can't even get a value Mori going on. So my man Endeavor is in a drought right now of some sort of momentum. He definitely needs to see some of these pieces here. So we're gonna see an 8K swing going into it might be into the Sabo. Yeah, I guess going into the Sabo. It does go down. We're going to go ahead and tap 5 here for the Luffy. Are we going to use the ability? No, we are not. We are not using the ability. We're just going to go ahead and pass. I completely understand this position, though, just because once you're at 1 life, it's probably the scariest for Black Hill Luffy to be at 1 life and to pass, just because if you're at 1 life, it's extremely easy for your opponent to just pressure your hand. You have the 9K body, which is obviously Gecko, and we have 2 6Ks. So even if you went 6, 7, 7, and then the rest onto Lucci, that is a lot of pressure. So this 9K swing does connect going into Ace. And what is my man Nacho going to do here? He has quite a few plays here, so he's going to go ahead and play the Tempest Kick. We're going to go ahead and draw one of the -3 on the Luffy. That Luffy is a very big issue, especially when you're able to loop Sabos with it. Actually in play too. So if it's in play and you start to loop Sabos, it's pretty scary. So we see a 5K swing going into life, and we're going to go ahead and counter out of it. Obviously, our leader is at 7, so nothing happens. And it looks like we're going to go ahead and possibly play out the or use the stage here to make our Sabo a 2 cost. And so both of these characters are 2 cost now. Let's see exactly what he has to kind of bring this down just a little bit further. I mean, we have the Brook. We can go Brook and then go into the Lucci too. That is definitely a possibility that we can do. But we're gonna go ahead and play the Rebecca. Rebecca is gonna go ahead and probably bring us a 2K counter, then play out the Brook. I really love this play, utilizing what we have in our hand to just make the most of it, right? So we're gonna go ahead and play the Brook, make this Luffy a 2 cost, a 1 cost, sorry, 1 cost. And now we see the Rob Lucci to go ahead and pop both, since I see what's going on here. Yeah, I was a little confused by the dice, but yeah, being able to pop both, extremely good. We remove the main threats, remove some defensive options, as well as establish 2 big bodies on the board. One being Brook, which probably will not see us attack for the rest of the game, but the Rob Lucci for sure. So we're going to start things off with the top deck of the Garp. Now Garp's going to go ahead and bring us the Sabo. Now this Sabo's not too bad. You're able to remove a body off the board plus take your own life, which is pretty nice when you're in a situation such as this. The only issue is I feel like it's a bit too late. We have no geckos in our hand. We literally have like 6 kids in our 6 kid characters in our hand, and that's just way too many. I feel like at this point you just kind of slowed way too much, and it's not even really anyone's kind of fault. I think maybe if anything, you probably maybe shouldn't have pitched the searcher event card and maybe pitch one of the kid characters, just so that you're able to do something else like you just did by playing the Garp, by playing the Sabo, maybe to find another Sabo, or maybe to find another, another character that's a little bit more relevant, something maybe like a Rocket Luffy to help you draw a card. Yeah. Definitely. And this is like the incredible important part. I think one of the most important parts of Black Hill Luffy currently is the deck building. Now obviously if you brick, you brick. You can't really do anything about it. I think sometimes it's just not in the cards. Most of the times if you're a good enough player, you can kind of work off the brick, but sometimes it's just, I mean, there's literally nothing to work off of. So yes, very, very difficult situation that my boy Endeavor is currently in, and Nacho kind of sitting pretty, which is very rare for Rob Lucci. Obviously this is a terrible matchup for Rob Lucci just because they're unable to pop anything just because of Sabo. But if you're not finding your pieces, like any player that loses in a matchup, they're like, I never found my pieces. Then it becomes a situation similar to this. So We're gonna go ahead and see if Endeavor can pull this one out of the bag. But spoiler, it is not looking too good for my man Endeavor here. So a Nacho, of course, like I mentioned, we have the 2 6Ks, we have the Gecko Moria, as well as the blocker with a couple, defensive options such as that. And in our hand, we have 3 2Ks. 3 2Ks and a Gecko, pretty insane. So it looks like we're swinging huge into the Brook, and we're gonna go ahead and counter out of it. And we might just play out the Sabo. Now, if he plays out the Sabo and uses the ability, we're kind of in a very rough position. Not kind of. We are a very rough position. And he's gonna do it. He's gonna go ahead and pitch the Flampe to pitch the Kaku. I would do the same. Get the giraffe out of here. Now, this is very rough. I mean, my man Endeavor either is throwing at this point, or he's saying, you know what, you're not gonna go in. You're gonna wait one more turn. I know you. I don't know. Let's see what ends up happening here. So we see a 5K swing going into live. This Enos Albe does hit, of course, the Sabo, and of course Endeavor has to counter out of this. No option, and my man Endeavor has 5 1Ks in hand. This 9K swing connects, and we draw into another 2K. One of the only 2 2Ks we've seen in this game. Pretty incredible here, and now with 10 open, yikes, we could go 16 into life, but we're gonna swing 7 actually. So we're gonna give him a 2K and a 1K, and now this is a huge swing with Brook. This is a 13K swing, and he actually does end up taking it, of course. So my man Nacho taking this one. Thank you guys so much for checking out this channel, this video. I really do appreciate it, and stay tuned because I have a ton of new OP07 content coming out soon. See ya.